I'll be a tough one to beat.
Dieser Weltjobplatz.
Hello, everyone. Making this speech here today has been a huge goal of mine once I heard it was an option, as I see it not as a means of gloating on accomplishments, but rather an opportunity to reflect and educate based on the lessons I learned within the laws of Shepherd Hill. These lessons don't necessarily come in the form of classroom instruction, but through the wisdom and maturity that results through making mistakes and observing the environment around you. Starting out as freshmen, there is little understanding of the real world, but through risk-taking and careful observation, we have slowly built ourselves a clear picture of how society operates around us. This image is different for everyone, based on their culture, traditions, and ethnicity, but we are still united by the education we have received and the values enlisted upon this staff and institution. If I'm going to be honest, my original draft of this speech was written in mid-January, around the height of the Omicron surge, where I myself contracted COVID. Upon reviewing its contents one more time, it became pretty clear that the speech was written out of frustration and spite, rather than the merit and the original message that I was trying to convey became shrouded in resentment. This, in fact, is a time to celebrate, unless you're a Miami Heat fan, of course. And I did not want the focus of this speech, or at the attention of our entire class, for the very first time, to be a rambling rant session about the problems with our COVID schedule and the difficulties that arose. What I really want to focus on today, and for all of you to understand, is a fundamental maxim that I believe helps keep us grounded and looking towards the future rather than in the past. And it is a very simple one, in fact. The majority of people out there are good. They have good souls with good intentions who are willing to lend a helping hand when times are tough and offer a piece of their time or money towards improving the community around them. If you turn around and look through the audience, what do you see? For me, I see a group of people who are hard workers, resilient through adversity, and willing to sacrifice blood, sweat, and tears for the ones they love. This message, although simple and straightforward, is something that we do not hear enough today. With social media algorithms allowing evil to spread across the globe almost instantly, it can be depressing to look at the news and see tragedy after tragedy. With this in mind, it is easy to understand how us as people can forget the simple concept that good people are out there. For me personally, with the isolation brought about by COVID lockdowns, I struggle to see any positives in our predicament. The face-to-face interactions where I could see a student helping another classmate with a math problem, or a group of friends joking around about the latest school fight, or a sports team planning their revenge against an opponent they lost to, which is all of our aims for boys soccer, was all but eliminated. As a result, it was easy to get lost in the whirlwind that is one's mind. With the return to in-person schooling, my outlook became more positive, and I learned the importance of opening up rather than suppressing oneself emotionally. I realized that all these students around me have felt the same problems as me, and there was a sense of shared pride and relief that our high school experience could be salvaged. Additionally, teachers work day and night to try and establish some sense of normalcy, and for that, I salute their unceasing efforts. I think that I speak on behalf of all students that their hard work did not go unappreciated, and the determination helped make our journey fulfilling, starting from preschool all the way to now and beyond. Now, with all of this in our rearview mirror, looking back, it is easy to nitpick certain scenarios and ask yourself, I should have done this differently, or I should not have made a video for this goofy TikTok trend. But the reality of the matter is the past is set in concrete. What has happened, happened. Whether you're starting college next year, entering the armed forces, or seeking employment, the high school slate is going to be erased, and truly for the first time in our young lives, we can dictate what we'd like to be. I recommend all of you today to go home and build an image of what you want to do, where you want to live, and how you want to live. Make it as descriptive and detailed as possible, and never forget it. Personally, I want to be an executive, working in a corporation focused on sustainable materials with a house overlooking the ocean in Nova Scotia, Canada. Set this image in your mind and strive for it. There will be days where adversity may strike, and this image may become blurry, but in these instances, lean on the good people out there, as they are plentiful, because they will help redirect you on the right path, the path towards your personal success. Thank you.